Hello, this is Barbara Wash from the Department of Medicaid Services. It is 1:58 and I am still clearing the waiting room. Keith, I see you here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want me to, I'll let you know when it's 2 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you. Also, I am calling in remotely, so
Okay.
it's going to be hard for me to see the agenda. So I may need you to call off what the agenda points are so I can actually see it.
I will do that, Keith.
Thank you.
Mhm. So Keith, it's 2 o'clock. You do have quorum. You have Linda, who is here, Troy Walker, and Paul Phillips. I don't see Joshua or Dana.
Okay, Joshua is
Oh,
Jacob.
oh, I see him. I see him.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
good. Um, we'll talk about Jacob's spot here in just a moment, but since we have quorum, we will go ahead and get started. First off, thank you everybody for jumping on today's call. I appreciate it. I do apologize. I am calling in remotely from Pensacola, so I cannot actually see the agenda on my phone because of it being such a small screen. So I will need some prompts as to what our next items are, but we don't have a whole lot to go over. One thing that we do need to do right off the bat is approve minutes from our last meeting. Members of the TAC were sent the meeting minutes several months ago, hoping everyone had a chance to read and review. If the members feel compelled, we need to get a motion to accept the minutes, please.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Walker. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
I got a second from Mr. Brand. Any discussion? With no discussion, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The minutes pass as written. Thank you very much. Okay. Ms. Walsh, what is the next item on the agenda for me, please?
So old business, there is none. For
Correct.
new business, A would be, did any changes occur with the GEMT requiring services to produce and submit annual reports?
Okay, thank you very much. And the
If you want to mute real quick for some reason.
Keith, you're on mute.
okay.
Okay, you're okay now. You're
Okay,
fine
okay,
now.
very good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The reason this was brought up, I had a brief discussion with Ms. Passion, and we wanted to clarify that with all of the changes that have come about with the addition of the new program for reimbursement for EMS, along with Moab, not knowing what Moab is up to right now, obviously because session hasn't started. has there been any changes for the need for EMS billing agencies or the accounting firm to send the reports out to the EMS services? And Linda, if you want to speak up and talk about that and what your question was, we might ask for somebody from Medicaid to be able to clarify your point.
Well, I know that last year I heard that there was some discussion about adding the GEMT funds to, which kind of rolls into Part B, into the fee schedule. So I didn't know, since that starts mid-year, I didn't know, or in the beginning of the year, the fee schedule normally would make changes. I didn't know if that would have anything to do with us continuing with the annual reports, if they were still needed or not needed, or just how Medicaid would be handling all of that.
Mhm. Thank you, Linda. Is there anybody within Medicaid services that can opine on that?
This is Steve Bechtel, the Chief Financial Officer. I'll just say this is, I'm not sure I'm following your question, but as far as the directed payment that was approved through House Bill 152, submission of a annual cost report is one of the three criteria to be eligible for the payment. So you would definitely have to still submit an annual cost report if you intend to be, because it's a voluntary program. It's not that you have to be in it. So that would be the only way that we'd be able to figure out the cost that you have. So we have to have that in order to calculate the true cost of the business to do that with CMS. As far as item B, since you kind of merged the two together there, the second one, I'm not aware of any discussions as of right now. There may have been some maybe talks, but nothing has come across my desk about putting GEMT into a Medicaid fee schedule.
You're muted, Linda.
Okay, well, it was just a discussion that I heard that was ongoing, so it probably didn't meet the level that we're needing to get it done.
Okay. And Keith, to answer your question on Moab, I'm not sure what the Moab is doing.
Mhm.
You know, they're hitting on every aspect of Medicaid across the board. Right now, they're looking at NEMT, which is not GEMT. It's different. It's the same service, but it's either performed by non-emergency versus governmental emergency. You know, so it's different, I guess, facilities, but it's a ownership of the facilities or how they're ran versus the services themselves. But I think the NEMT that they're talking about is the capitated NEMT process for you know, just transports to and from the doctor's offices and to their medical appointments, not necessarily a stretcher ambulance type of what I call stretcher ambulance, but it's that type of, I don't think they're talking about that type of transportation in the Moab. Now, the Moab is simply looking at everything and trying to make recommendations to the legislature to on changes they would like to see to the program, to the Medicaid program as a whole. Transportation is just one part of that. So.
Mhm. Thank you for clarifying that, Steve, because one of the concerns, and I've spoken with a few folks on the EMS side about this, is my understanding is there are some of the legislators that, to your point, are upset that there is a fairly large appropriation that is made for NEMT transportation each year, and apparently about 1% of that is actually getting used. From what I'm
Well,
understanding.
I would probably disagree with the 1%. I've done the numbers. It's a little closer to 4 on utilization. We have like 1.4 million people that we pay a capitated payment on, and only about 60,000 people are utilizing the services, but that's about 4% if you
Mhm.
look at it on the utilization side. However, the cost has increased, and I don't have to tell you all this. Gas has gone up. The cost of maintenance of maintaining the vehicles and maintaining the safetiness of those vehicles and going through the certifications of those vehicles, all of that cost has increased.
Mhm.
And it has driven up those capitated payments that to operate the program. But what we have to do, and I don't think I've tried to explain this to the legislature, but obviously I'm not having much success in trying to explain it. But you look at the overall.
Steve, you went on mute.
I don't know why we keep being put on mute because I didn't touch a button. But anyway, but I don't know what he heard, but what all I said that you did get to hear. But I think that what you have to do is you take the total cost to run the program, to operate the program, and you divide it by the utilization, right? The total. We had 3.3 million trips in 2025 for 60,000 people. So it comes to close to about 59 to 60 trips per person that that utilizes it. They're utilizing about 59 to 60 trips. That's 4 to 5 trips a month, right? So we spent of the 175 that we paid in capitated payments, about 145 of that was in the overall cost of running it. The other pieces, they have overhead they have to pay for. They have all the maintenance I tried to talk to you about just a minute ago. I don't know if you heard that. Gas, they have all those overhead costs that they have to also cover in the remaining amount of that money. The other thing is it's different in each region, right? Different scenarios, different situation in each region. You may have in the urban area, they may only have to go like 3, 4, 5 miles. But in a rural area, they may have to drive 35 to 50 miles for a trip. So that trip becomes very expensive. So I don't know if I agree with only 1% is utilized of the program, because I believe we can illustrate otherwise.
Okay. Well, thank you for the clarification on that. I think I can speak pretty handedly that we understand what it's like with those additional costs, to your point, because of the reimbursement factor that we have for non-emergency transports that is not part of the reimbursement programs that we have for EMS. And the number of transports we're being asked to do continually go up. You know, being a hospital-based service myself, there's an awful lot of those trips that, you know, our general cost to operate per run is about $490, $500 per trip. And we're not even getting within any range of meeting any type of reimbursement that actually is reimbursement, let alone anything on top of that. So I can understand that they're having their issues as well.
Yeah, and I can tell you this too, Keith, is we have the one directed payment that we've had for a while that all ambulance providers can have access to, and that's that provider assessment program called APAP.
Right.
And then we have the new one that was part of House Bill 152 that we've submitted to CMS, but CMS is on shutdown right now, I guess. So we're waiting to hear on that so that we can get that. But that's for governmental
right.
GMT. That's for those local government owned and ran programs and others. There's other approval criteria for that too. But we understand that you're not getting your full costs, and that's why we did those two directed payments, is try to bring that up closer to where it needed to be. Unfortunately, House Bill, I guess it's House Bill 695, which developed the MOAB, also says I can't, expand. So I don't know, where we go from there. It seems like anytime I have to do a spa or reg or any kind of rate adjustment, I've got to go through, or somebody has to go before the legislature to kind of get their buy-in on it from now on. So
Mhm. Sure.
Uh,
Anybody from the TAC have questions regarding what Mr.
I,
Bechtel was talking about?
I do. This is Linda.
mhm.
Forgive my ignorance, but what kind of provider is receiving these capitated funds? What would that provider look like that is receiving capitated funds?
They're a broker. The
Okay,
transportation brokers is the
so you're talking
NEMT.
about
Yes,
wheelchair service, basically.
correct, correct.
Okay,
Or, yeah, not the stretcher ambulance. I'm not talking
okay,
about that. I'm talking about just your normal, that they come and pick them up, take them to their appointments, bring them home, maybe go to the pharmacy, things like
oh,
that.
okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Dave, let me ask you one other question about that because, and that this is a bit personal because it's my services doing it. We have started getting wheelchair vans, and we're not charging anybody to take the patients home. We just need to get the patients out of our hospitals. The process that we would have to go through in order to be eligible for reimbursement would have to cause us to align with a brokerage, whereas the only patients that we really need to transport are those that are actually leaving our facility so we can get them home or get them to follow on care. There was a last minute amendment made, and forgive me for not knowing the bill number, during the last session that basically said hospitals are not eligible for reimbursement. Is that really the case that as a hospital-based service, I would not be able, even if I went through a brokerage, I would not be able to file for a reimbursement simply because I am owned by a hospital service?
Keith, I'm not aware. I'm not familiar with the legislation and that you're speaking
Okay,
of. So if you can get that and get it to us, we'll be glad to look into it. Um,
okay,
but I don't know now as far as the NEMT, we don't, they're enrolled with us, but they've contracted with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to do the
mhm,
services. So we just pay Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and then they pay out to the individual brokers. So that may be a discussion you may need to have with them
yeah,
as well. But as far as the legislation, if you can get me that,
mhm,
we'll be glad to here at the department to take it back and look at it for you.
okay, I
Yeah, I
really
would be
appreciate it.
curious if it only captures your not-for-profit, and that's going to be the hang up. But I think you'd want to do it in two parts. You want to look at that legislation, but you also probably want to see the application process that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's requiring on what's their criteria for who they're going to onboard as a vendor.
Right.
Right. And that was thank you, Joshua, for bringing that up because that was part of the hang up too, is at the last time I looked into that, we were going to have to agree to take, let's say if somebody wanted to go to the beauty salon, we would have to agree to take them to the beauty salon if they were an actual client. And that's just not the type of work that we're wanting to get into. We want to be able to take people out of our facilities to clear out the facilities. So to Steve's point, I'm going to definitely get in touch with the cabinet about what are the different ways to qualify. Does anybody have a point of contact within Department of Transportation who is the most appropriate person to talk with there?
I would start with Jeremy Thompson,
Okay.
and if he can't guide you, he'll guide you to the right direction. But he's over the transportation, the NEMT program with Transportation Cabinet.
Okay.
Hey Keith, I think that was Senate Bill 27, which was part of the Parkinson's research bill. That was part of an email we had sent last year.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Troy. Yes, that is the one that we need to ask Representative Bratcher to see if he can amend because at the last moment of the session, They tied it into the EMS regulations and not the DOT regulations, which was a technicality we had to work out. That was one of the things that we worked with Commissioner Lee on, along with, I believe, a couple others earlier this year to make sure that the language that was used in SB 27 was not going to cause any effect on our EMS providers because of the legal site that they put in the bill, which was inappropriate. So thank you, Troy, for bringing that up. I could not remember what the number that bill was.
Yeah, my only other comment or concern would be, you know, we pay a capitated payment to the broker, and each broker has their own region, right? So if the member lives within their region, they get a capitated per member per month capitated payment. If we're paying them a capitated payment to deliver those services that you're mentioning, Keith, and then we're turning around and paying you all for moving that person out of your facility, regardless if it's coming out of your facility, I've already paid for a per capitated payment to have that service rendered. And so that it would be a situation where we could have duplicate payment there. So we want to make sure that we address that as well. Just to be a, you know, good steward of taxpayer dollars. So
Well, Steve, would it be a possibility of getting a list of the registered vendors per area, per service area? So that way Keith could follow up and say, hey, this is who should be doing these transports versus us anyway, if they're already getting paid
Yep.
for it.
I would think so. I would think Jeremy Thompson should be able to provide you all that information. And he could probably even give you their subcontractors who align those trips, who schedule those trips for those brokers. So he should be able to give you that information. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that we do currently use, I believe, 3 different vendors that come to our facilities to take these patients. It just unfortunately sometimes the time frame doesn't align with when the patient's being discharged, which slows down throughput. Which I won't get into all
Oh, I
the
totally
math that goes into
understand.
that.
I
Yeah,
understand totally. I trust me, I do.
yeah.
You know, and being a CFO, you know, a lot of times we get lost in the numbers and decimal points and things, but we have to also remember these are people. These are people's
Mm-hmm.
lives that we're talking about. And so, so what I was mentioning was the double or the duplicative in payments. And the only reason I brought that up is, you know, we're watched like a watchdog. You know, we're watched over, making sure that we're being most efficient as we can with the tax dollars. And so we just want to make sure we're doing that. But ultimately, our goal is to make sure to get those services rendered,
Sure.
and then we can figure out the payments later. But that was just something I thought you may want to bring up to who was it? Senator Bratcher, you said, I think.
Yeah, Representative Bratcher.
Representative Bratcher. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
On a
And I've
Senate
met
bill.
with him. Or well, it was something that he was working on. I had an opportunity to meet with him last April after this took place. It originated at his level, and then in the last minutes of the session, it got moved over to the Senate, and there was a lot of things that took place that a lot of people can't really explain. It just other than last minute time frame within the session, things can get a little crazy. Is basically what I was told, and they quoted basically 311A instead of the appropriate DOT regulation that was supposed to be quoted. So we just need to get a cleanup of that so that it takes away any talk about EMS not potentially being able to get reimbursed for doing Medicaid transports.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things we hear. And it's not just transporting them out, it's like transporting them to another facility, you know, to a
Right.
nursing facility or vice versa. You know, there's been some issues that's been brought up to us by all providers. So yeah, we do want to try to figure that piece out.
Sure. Sure. Very good. Thank you. All right, anybody else on the TAC have questions regarding the reimbursement that need to be presented to DMS this month? Okay, very good. Barbara, what's our next point on the agenda?
So the next one, we did do B, is there discussion of simply adding GEMT dollars to the Medicaid fee schedule. So we did go over that one.
Correct.
Discussion regarding changes to TAC, MAC, and BAC. Well, TAC is moving right along. I have proposed dates for your TAC, and I will send those out to you after today's meeting. We did have our BAC meeting, first one on 10/13. We have 31 back members, and all dates for the 2026 year have been set. We have a new chair, vice chair, and secretary. We will have our first MAC meeting on November 3rd, and that will be at the CHR building in Frankfurt. So that's the update that I have on TAC, MAC, and BAC.
Okay, can you explain briefly with the changes that took place previously, anytime that the TACnet, either myself or Mr. Walker would report out to the MAC, what we had talked about, if we had any recommendations. The BAC is something new. I don't, personally, I'm not familiar with what the BAC is, and what does the BAC coordinate with the MAC, who obviously coordinates with the TAC?
So any recommendations that you would have would go through MAC. So if you had any recommendations, I think I had sent out some reminders. And again, I'm so brand new, I'm still trying to find my way through this. BAC is Beneficiary Advisory Committee. So it's more of caretakers and advocates for those with different different areas. So that would, and there are 31 members. But MAC is, I believe, where you're going to present your recommendations. And our first meeting is going to be on November 3rd.
Okay, so at the end of the day, the MAC is still going to be the next level up for us to report to, and none of that will change with the introduction of the MAC.
No, nothing will change. That is
Okay,
correct.
very good.
Okay.
All right.
So the next one is replacement member for the Fire Chiefs Association, TAC representative. Letter sent to Chief Kyle last Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Two things here. First off, I should have let everybody know this at the beginning of the meeting, but we do have one of our new members attending this meeting. Mr. Paul Phillips was appointed by the Kentucky Ambulance Providers Association to take the place of Mr. Eubank, who recently retired. So Paul, welcome to the EMS Medicaid TAC. Paul is an executive with GMR, AMR. Paul has been around EMS for a very long time, worked for the Kentucky Board of EMS for a good length of time, is very familiar with EMS reimbursement, and is very active in the talks with legislators, with leaders within EMS about the status of reimbursement for EMS. So, Paul, welcome to the group. Please feel welcome at any time to ask questions of anyone, and welcome. Would you like to say a few words to everybody?
No, I mean, you said it better than I could actually. So thank you. And I look forward to working with you all.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. And we did find out that Mr. Jacob Carroll has recently left Jeffersontown Fire and EMS. I did reach out to Chief Kyle, who is the chief of Paducah Fire Department, to ask for a representative to represent their group. I have not heard back from Chief Kyle yet. Troy, if I don't know if you have contact with Chief Kyle. Do you have any connection with him or with anybody at Paducah to where you could potentially prod him to respond?
I don't, but I can find some and I can take care of it.
Okay, yeah, that would be fantastic. If you don't mind doing that, I'd like for us to get back up to 100% on our membership as quickly as we can. That would be fantastic. All right, and then Ms. Walsh, you said that you had just recently sent out or are going to be sending out the dates for next year's meeting. I'm assuming that's not anything that we have to vote on to approve, that those will just be a standard date that will be set by the cabinet. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. I just basically sent, I have some proposed dates for you all, and if they all work for your schedule, then you can all get back to me and let me know.
Okay,
Okay?
very good.
They'll go out after today's meeting.
Okay,
Alrighty.
all right, very good. I
And
believe them. Go ahead.
yeah, the last one is general discussion and recommendations.
Yeah, thank you. Does
Mhm.
anybody on the TAC have any questions, comments, anything that we need to look as a recommendation to forward to the MAC?
I have one question I forgot to ask earlier on B.
Sure.
What date do you want do you expect that the accounting firm will want those reports done by, Steve? The GEMT reports.
Normally we try to get it, we just did the 26th one. And we're trying to get ahead of the game on 27. So I would think that, probably in the first quarter of 20, well, that might not be enough time, maybe May, end of May. I believe that was the time frame we used last year, was May.
May of 26.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And that's just me off the top of my head. I'll have to talk to the accounting firm, but I
Okay.
would think, because we'd have to allow your year end to end, right? And then allow some time for some claims to roll through and all that. And then, but I was thinking May would probably be the best, be a good time.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Next item, please.
So the last would be the next meeting in January, and I'll be sending that over to you later today. And that's all.
Okay, very good. So on those meeting dates, if everyone on the TAC is good with them, I'll reach out to everybody to find out if there's any issues. Then we can send it out to the entire group so that our commercial folks that are participating in the TAC will have those dates available as well. All right, and with that, I believe the next item would be adjournment. Is that correct?
It's adjourn. Yes. And
All right.
also wanted to let everybody know, Steve had put Jeremy Thompson's email in the sidebar in the chat.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, with no further business for the TAC, is there a motion for adjournment?
I make a
moved.
motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Basham. We had a second by Mr. Phillips. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Very good. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.